things in color, because all our books were black and white. And the other comment, which I really like, is that this is wonderful because we can actually hear the real animal sounds they make rather than having to listen to our teachers try to make that sound. so a couple things. But this, just to dwell on this school for a minute as well, we only were in May of last year, which gives us 2 out of 3 terms. They start in January over there. But in December, they have the grade 7 national exams there, and if you pass that exam, then you're able to move on to middle school and continue your education. This school actually had a 13% improvement in the number of kids that passed from the year before. Now we had, which is fantastic, we don't want to go, oh, it was all us, because it was only 2 terms. It could have been a lot of different things, but we were really glad to see it improve, and we were really even gladder to see it not go worse. So that's this a little bit, the emphasis on education and the realization of hope that it gives, and the recognition that it gives. This tent, which I'm sitting behind this table taking the picture with my phone here. So you can see that's probably about 150 feet across the other tent. There was a couple thousand people underneath there. That was for the commissioning of our e-learning system in the school. And to see that kind of interaction and gratitude to World Vision for sponsoring and everything was it was extremely moving on what we were seeing there. So the Minister of Education flew out and gave his speech, in which he said he sees Chisatawi or e-learning like we're doing as being the road to socio-economic recovery for Zimbabwe by 2030. This is just a key part of having the children having proper education as they move through there. And of course, if the Minister of Education comes out, then there must be a gift to the honored guest, and you'll see the fact that he's petting it currently. That's a goat there, so that was the gift for coming out. And this is the big thing. Again, these are both pictures from that particular school. You've got to turn into reading and learning and all the different courses, and all of the children are showing up before school starts to get on the system, eating their lunch in the rooms and staying late as well. So we're pleased about being part of the difference in that system there. So if I flip back to the slides here, few statements. Like I say, we are only 4 years old, and in the eyes of the government, only 3. So having the information like from the ground in Africa, but also in just starting up an e-learning system, because even though we've started in sub-Saharan Africa, our products are, or at least our learning platform, we hope to be bringing to the US and Canada sooner than later, because all of these resources apply everywhere. And with respect to some of the recent migrant initiatives with respect to this region, we've done all this work to understand the histories of these countries that are global in nature and have all the early numeracy and literacy materials in English and in mother tongue languages in the other countries. So if we can bring all of that here, then we can also help the integration of recent migrants in this region, because Canadians and the receiving communities will also understand their culture more. And gee whiz, we already have all of their materials in their mother tongue languages to help them transition to English. So we're looking at what that all looks like too, with potentially doing something here locally sooner than later. So we've kind of talked about this first one. It says, if all students in low-income countries left school with basic reading skills, 171 million people could be lifted out of poverty, which would be equivalent to a 12% cut in world poverty. That's Nelson Mandela and UNESCO. The second thing that we based the company on and the initiative really, on the charitable side, is that hard copy textbooks are expensive and inefficient. You pay a lot of money for a hard copy textbook, but really all you want is what it says. You don't really care about the paper and all of these different things. So I say printing, shipping, stocking, revising, revision makes books expensive for all the wrong reasons. I've talked a little bit about the computers that we sent, or that we have developed for over there, and bottom line is, because of the conditions with the dirt and the heat and the power that goes in and out, and internet that goes on and off, parachuting in North American computers is really not a great solution. They last about 6 months and then they get stacked in the corner of the school. So we have some systems that address that. How am I doing on time, by the way? I'm not really.
You got 20 minutes.
Oh, okay. I'll try not to be near that long. And the last thing is, this is a really interesting one because it says learning methodologies are not effective. Students have been in school for 12 years but are still not employable. And we've addressed that fairly well in Ontario with a thing called competency-based education. But there's a lot of areas of the rest of the world that aren't there yet, and it really has to do with, it's not what you know, but it's what you can do, or it's what you can do with what you know. So it's more of a vocational emphasis, and also the teacher no longer is a lecturer like I am right now, standing up at the front in front of you folks. They're now a coach that comes alongside the individual students to understand and to set goals and to work with them on a one-to-one basis, and that's been proven effective in, let's see, about 30 amount of work is first of all it's a lot better job, and it is way more effective. So we're helping to move in this competency-based approach. Sub-Saharan schools are brutal for rote learning, so repeat after me, here's the 2 times table, let's go kind of thing, without any kind of actual, what's the application here, right? So we're really focusing on that as well. Now, you're not going to read this, and this I finished this, what time is it now? Not very long ago. But I want to talk a little bit more about the for-profit and the charitable side here. So I have our mission statement at the top, which is providing leading-edge learning systems and disrupting poverty through education. And we did this because there's just a lot of advantages. I mean, hindsight is, when I talked to our lawyer, I said to him, do you think there's a way that I could construct, or we could construct, a more difficult business model than this, like global? And he says, yeah, no, I think you've actually figured out the most difficult one, or complex one. But at the end of the day, we have a charity and a for-profit, 2 legal entities in Canada. And then we set up, we have 3 people in an office in Zambia, and we are incorporating in Kenya as I speak, although it's the evening now, but it should be done tomorrow. And then we have a reseller in Zimbabwe. But if you take a look at this with the shared mission statement, if you look at the opportunity here, well, on the for-profit side, e-learning globally. Now, remember, when I talk about that, I'm not just talking about impoverished children. I'm just talking generally about all the opportunity there. So it's about 170 billion global marketplace, the e-learning, the online learning currently, right? So there's the opportunity there, and the other thing is that the for-profit side here can help sustain, of course, all of the initiatives on the charitable side. So if I look at that statement there, the opportunity on the other side is that statement that I just spoke a few minutes ago, that 171 million people could be lifted out of poverty if they had basic education, right? So that's there.